Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Polker Table. My name is Michelle, and I'm here with Hector,
Hello.
Connor,
Hey,
and Austin.
Hi.
Today's episode is going to be about a day in the life at Polker. Sound good?
Yeah,
So we're just
so
gonna yeah.
everyone has like their daily routine that we're gonna go over, and then talk a little bit about like what we like about the routine, what we don't like, the goings on behind the scenes of poker that you might not know. And I think the first thing that at least me and Michelle do every morning is bother Connor.
Yep.
Connor wakes up like
Religiously.
6 hours before us. I know she sends him a GIF. I just send him a hello or the current state of Ethereum. Is a conversation topic as of recently.
Yeah.
Good or bad. And sometimes I send them at like midnight as well, but that's another story. But following that, I always do checkups on like emails for new talent or new propositions they have for the company, AngelList, Indeed, LinkedIn, stuff like that, and make sure all that's squared away and that I at least see everyone's messages every day. But that brings me to the massive amount of emails that I get every day, which takes up a good chunk of time. Just responding to not only incoming emails, but otherwise marketing propositions and stuff like that is always really fun. Really fun. Super enjoyable. But, yeah, the air quotes are very telling. But what I do actually enjoy is like the daily meetings that we have, not only for like Scrum and the dev team, but the every other day or Monday, Wednesday, Friday meetings from like the marketing side and the admin team that works more closely with the community. That is, we talk a lot, so every other day, like I said, and it really helps information spread like top down very quickly, right? If we have something that was decided on 8 p.m. last night, 10 a.m. next morning, everyone knows. And then it's posted in the group chats, all that stuff. And that makes your communication just everyone's talking to everyone. Other than that, I generally help to pick up slack where needed, if it's on the game development side, not development itself, but like ideologies of development, making sure the mechanics are going to work. The NFT specifically is something we talked about this morning. And yeah, that's essentially my day to day. It's not as glamorous as one would think, though.
Still sounds fun.
It's all right. I enjoy it. Right?
I
You don't have to be
appreciate my
glamorous.
messages.
It doesn't have to be glamorous to enjoy your job.
True.
And Austin's really good at helping with the game mechanics.
I only made the PKR pass.
Austin?
No. But I we talked about Hector's schedules a little bit, and what brings it up for that is I really like his morning meetings that he does outside while walking his dog. I feel like that's like peak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a good segue for Hector.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So as Austin said, yeah, early morning, wake up by my dogs, literally, physically licked on the face, kicked in the face, crying, and fortunately sometimes a little biting on my ears. But fast forward, shower, brush my teeth, walk the dogs, and as soon as I walk the dogs, I'm literally jumping in Telegram messages, Slack messages response, and the art scrum call. And that's pretty fun. And yeah, sometimes they ask to see the pictures of the dogs because they don't believe I'm walking the dogs. So I got to show proof. Show proof. They all love it. Good way to start the morning/evening because some of them are different time zones. And then from there, get home and start driving to the office. And by that time in the development scrum call, when things goes from 0 to 100 real quick, and I mean this in a good way, with like, yep, you
Yeah,
already
man.
know.
Good way.
Good, good way rhymes with Subway. But other than that, yeah, everything's well. And then from there, I normally jump into calls like this. just so we all that's here coordinate for marketing, get ready for NNT events, and get reminded about tickets, which I forgot to buy literally like 10 minutes ago before this cast.
Bro,
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get
it's in a week.
it.
You also forgot to mention, like, you get random texts and telegrams from me being like, did you
Yes.
do this? Did you do
Yeah.
that?
Especially
I'm
like,
always bothering you.
nah, it's good. It's reminding, so I like that. But yeah, and then from after this meetings, between 1 to 4 p.m., I'm literally just jumping in like every different department we have just to make sure everybody has their stuff that they need, enough resource. At the same time, filling in things I forgot or missed, and coming to
Okay.
Austin saying, "Hey, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of that idea?" And then sometimes I message Connor, and then I won't hear back to him because it's already late for your time, so I don't blame you. Um, then I eat, and then my last meeting is the UI UX, where things gets very interesting because we're trying to do our best to polish UI, especially for the Poker Early Access. A lot of reviews, so that's been pretty really helpful, and a little bit of mobile research, if you know what I mean. That type of
Oh,
thing.
is that an allusion to something, Hector?
Yeah.
Are we planning on something in
Subtle
the future?
hint.
Yep. I should live in a mobile house, maybe.
Oh, oh, so the hint is Hector's actually downgrading into a trailer home. Awesome. That's pretty cool, man.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna make sure
Two.
there's a iOS and or Android built in.
Oh, okay. That's what we're doing right now. Got it.
Nah, but yeah. After that, head home, and then you think my day ends? Nah. That's when I jump into the Telegram, troubleshoot, help people with their computer issues.
Mhm.
Um, Try to play the game, but overall, it's mainly user error, fortunately. But,
Fortunately. Now, an important question about the game, Hector. How many chips have you lost in poker so far?
you know, I have no idea because I buy more, so I feel better.
Oh,
Really?
You're
okay.
the same as me. It's great, right?
Yeah.
All
Nah,
right.
I have won a good amount. I think I want to say like 2 to 3K. I won.
So you're up.
Yeah, I'm
What?
fine pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised too. I was like, click, click, and I'm here help troubleshooting people. Click, click. I'm trying to repeat these issues, and
Right.
I somehow
You
just
keep
keep winning when
winning.
I repeat it. Yeah,
That's weird. The guy from poker keeps winning. I wonder why. What's going
yeah, I
on?
know. Let me
Yeah.
call developer Scrum. Hold on,
I'm down like 4K. So
I got you. I can
Yeah,
send you some.
no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm okay. Connor, how much are you down?
about 20,000 chips.
No.
Yeah, yeah. You see, I have this thing with going all in when I don't have a good hand, and I just basically, if you ever meet me and I offer to play poker with you, take the opportunity because you will rob
Yeah.
everything I have,
Sounds like it. Yeah.
especially if I go
What's
all
your
in.
username?
Condor. Just so everyone knows, if you ever see Condor at the table, I'm bluffing. I have nothing, and I will go all in. Just take my money.
You're just troubleshooting. That's what it is.
Exactly,
Yeah,
it's
he's testing the
troubleshooting.
game. He's
There are
testing
some
the game.
issues with the all in, to be honest. Mainly it's me. It's user error, but it's I can't help
Right.
User error on the all-in button. I keep
So
losing.
funny.
And I
So
really like the
besides losing
phase
in
when you get
poker,
disconnected, though.
it's actually really cute. It's our creature character just being really like downtrodden, upset, just like looking up at the camera. It's very cute. So besides losing in poker every day, what else is your game look like, Connor? What's the highlights and the low points?
Um, Well, I mean, losing in poker is actually one of my high points. I really enjoy it. I don't know what it is. No, no, don't take that in a bad way. I genuinely enjoy that. Something about playing the game that you've been like, seeing the team build. I'm not a developer, so I don't. But I've been watching it change. I've been there, and now it's great to actually be
Right.
able to
Yeah.
play. I don't care if I lose or win. I just love the experience. Uh, my days a little bit different. As in, I think it's because obviously we're an international company, so we're on so many different time zones. So it's great. I first have to make sure that when I go to bed that I haven't got any double book calls for the next day, because that's normally is the case that someone's put me on the same time. So make sure that's not going to happen. Nothing booked at 2 a.m. so I don't have to set an alarm to get up. If not, that's great. Get up in the morning, try to work from Telegram on my phone, but realize that I has no way I can answer the 4,000 Telegram messages from my phone. Get on my laptop, go through Telegram, then realize that I've got Slack as well. Completely forgot about that. It's 9 o'clock by now. Open Slack. Then realize that I've got 4 email accounts to go through, so start going through them. But it's good because at this time I've got the people in the Asia Pacific are all awake, people in the EU awake, but you guys in the US, you're still asleep. So I have a little bit of peace on that side. So I have the meetings with the, sorry, but yeah, I do enjoy that time. The guys in the EU, and I have some time with the guys in the Asia Pacific area that I can actually speak with them and get bits organized for the rest of the day. And then just about when all of that sort of quiets down and gets fixed, you guys have to go and wake up in the US. Um, so no, that's a cool. It's like what Austin was saying. That's a good part of the day as well, because anything that has come from the day before, we have 3 times a week a meeting with the operations guys. We have the other days I'm on the call with the development team to hear what's going on with them. So it's a fun part of the day as well. It's a morning for the guys in the US. It's actually like mid to late afternoon for me. And that actually is when the day really starts, to be honest. So after that, it's making sure that the social media guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing, that the marketing guys know what they're doing, making sure that all of the marketing that is being done is getting paid for. And then it's meetings with partners, exchanges, advisors, management, making sure that everyone's in at least some sort of agreement, and that, those agreements within crypto. For those of you who are in crypto, whether you're not even working in it, you know how easy scams are. Yeah, it's all over the place. That's not just being
Yeah.
in crypto as a user. That's also within the industry. So making sure that that we're avoiding things like that, and that we're just with legitimate projects. It's a lot of due diligence involved in that, and then sort of yeah, gets to my evening, I guess, and I'm like, yeah, that's it, time for my dinner or whatever. Always the time when CEO or someone else in the staff decides to call me. Um, Uh, it's always a short call that goes on for a long time, and ends up quite late. Uh, and that's at the point where you end up going to bed and checking that I don't have any double scheduled calls for the next day again. Which sounds like a stressful day in a bit, but actually, to be honest, like I enjoy all of it. Uh, I would say there's maybe 10% of the days where it's too much, and I'm like, okay, this is a lot. But the 90% of the days, it's great fun. Like it's an industry I love. The days are long, but the project is great. My colleagues, the whole team are great, and we're delivering a cool project. So it's every day is different. I would say that's a very bare bone version of it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that's my sort of a simplistic view of my day at poker.
I would like to point out that before poker, though, Connor did not drink or smoke.
I still do not
Now Connor
drink,
drinks and smokes.
but I do
You
smoke.
You don't drink, Connor? That's water. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I did have a couple of beers in Miami. That's true.
He now drinks and smokes slightly more often.
Yeah, it has
Don't let
increased.
his pleasantly unlined face fool you. He has a very important job. And
Yeah.
while he might like his important job, he is an important guy. Michelle, how what's your day to day look like? It's just ignore that.
uh, so yeah, for me, my typical workday. So actually, the first couple weeks I work, or like a week and a half, I like to kind of gauge how things work in a company, and then I realize that by the time it'd be like 1 p.m. and I'm like ramping up with my work, I'm realizing, oh crap, like Connor's like it's late. It took me a while to register because I've never really worked with so many different people in so many different time zones. And so what I did after that was like, okay, I'm going to shift my work schedule because I am working a lot with Connor. So I moved it earlier so that I was working more toward like UTC time. And it worked better for me just because I have 3 kids, I have a family. So like I was allowed to have like a chunk of time with my kids, which is awesome. So yeah, the typical day, yeah, I would wake up super early. And then as I'm checking my phone, I always check my Telegram messages first before I get to my computer. I'm kind of the person who wakes up and just, I know this isn't good, but I'll start checking work messages to see if there is a fire and I need to, how fast I need to run to my computer, right? So I'll just start checking. And if it's a typical day and there are no fires, then I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm just checking all the stuff that happened while we were sleeping in the US. And then I'll send Connor a GIF because I really like communicating in GIFs and I feel like he likes that too. So I always try to send something funny to kind of start off the day depending on what my mood is, right? So if I'm tired, then I'll send something, weirder and funnier, but either way. I'll do that. I'll check my emails to see if there's anything that needs to go out as well. Um, and then from there, typically, I'll come to the computer and I'll start my workday by going through and making sure all the social media posts that are going to go out are grammatically correct and, consistent and all of that. And so we do like these second eyes things where we'll go in before anything goes out and then we double check to make sure the words are spelled correctly and everything looks good. After that, I will typically check in with Connor. Especially because a lot of times when I'm doing different marketing campaigns, I will check in with him. I always like having multiple people to brainstorm with, so, and also just making sure everything's good to go. If there's anything new I wanted to run by, I'll run by it with Connor as well. um, I do have meetings, which I do like. I really like our meetings because it's the time when I'm not alone. Because when you sometimes work by yourself, especially if you're virtual, you're kind of like alone a lot. And
Mhm.
so I do like getting to check in with everyone, and I do really enjoy everybody that I work with. Everybody has such an amazing personality. They're funny, and they're such great at what they do, and so it's nice checking in with everyone, whether it be our operations meetings that we have with the marketing and the front end side of the team, or even like the dev. It's nice checking in with them too. Those are fun meetings as well. And then I'll typically check in with the ad specialists that I'm working with that help me run the ad campaigns on like selected channels. And then, yeah, sometimes we'll do the Polker Table podcast recordings. So we do that. And my husband actually is the one who does the production portion, which is nice. It's all in house. um, and yeah, and then,
You find the dev meetings are fun?
well, the ones I go to are fun.
Oh,
I like shooting the
Dev marketing
breeze, and
meeting is pretty
I
fun.
feel like I get the nice one though.
it is. I just get lost
Oh
in
yeah,
terminology.
you're not in that one.
Yeah,
I think I make it fun. So
when Jesse, Raphael, and Rob talk to me about technicals, I just I try my best to pay attention and yeah, okay, I can kind of understand this. And then they throw out 7 new terms in a meeting. It's like,
oh, see, that's why.
okay,
So for
yeah,
me, I meet with the dev team once a week with
Mhm.
Connor, and we do it mostly for like the marketing portion.
Right,
So like
Mhm.
checking in and seeing where they are. So they use layman terms with me, so
Right,
it's totally fine.
and that's how we do our Friday dev updates, right? That's where it
Ah,
comes from.
yep,
Okay,
exactly,
got it. Yep.
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and then I also work with, like the segmented mini team that I have where, I have somebody that works on our video, Joseph, and then we have Sunny who helps me with the TikTok and the YouTube, and she also is our SEO person, who also works with our web designer, Vasil. And like Connor mentioned, yeah, I really like the people we work with, right? Like I think we have such a solid team, and I think that's really important for projects, right? Um, Having like a really good work culture, and solid people that you're working with who are fun and love to work on the project with you. So yeah.
And just in general, you mentioned a second ago, I heard that Slack message. Connor trying to do work While we're in a podcast.
Sorry, Hannah.
I mean,
Like I
we
said,
do have to multitask a lot. There
No,
have been times. Yeah,
Hector's
Hector does
sometimes in
that.
two meetings.
Yeah,
He'll
Yeah.
talk
and
in
I don't
both.
know how. Yeah, I can barely. I'm like a laser focused one thing at a time, but I have sent messages while I'm in meetings or whatever. I'm
I
not gonna
think
lie.
I think Hector just has a cue in for his name, and the moment he hears
Ah,
his name, he mutes everything, goes to the meeting that his name was set in, and said, "Can you repeat that again?"
Hector.
Yeah. What was
It's
that?
it's a exactly there you go. It's a formula.
yeah.
I'm in the
But
middle of purchasing the tickets.
gotcha.
Ooh,
See the
multitasking.
multitasking.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But on that note, I gotta ask, Hector, where are you right now? You said you work from an office, but what is this location?
This is actually home. I work a
Okay.
little late, and gas is going up, so
Yep.
I decided to stay just today inside home.
Yeah, but also if you recognize Michelle's back environment hasn't switched up, and Connor's has switched a lot. Mine got a
Yeah.
Moon Man, but that's completely unrelated. Um, we have a mostly remote team, which means a mostly work from home team or
hmm
work from wherever is convenient. So, how do you guys feel about all that? Like the switch in general, um, and
I
specifically related to
personally
poker?
love it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I personally love it. I've actually wanted a remote and virtual job for the past 2 years, and I've tried to transition to that. And it's interesting because a lot of them didn't seem like it could be virtual
Mhm.
until we hit the panini, and then everything magically just turned virtual, right? Like I used to teach at a hospital, like in like a lecture conference room all the time, and they were like, oh, there's no way, right? And then all of a sudden now, like, I was able to transition the entire team online. And so yeah, we continue to teach online for that, and so that's like a little part-time thing I do on weeknights, like twice a month. But I still get to do that virtually, which is amazing. But with this, I love that I can work on Polker anywhere as long as I have internet access. And so yeah, like, I mean, since we started the podcast, I've been home, but typically we do try to travel every 2 months now. And I can do that with this job, so I love it. And I'm hoping I can, work for Poker forever and also just be virtually online forever, like working online. Because it's so nice.
I can completely agree with that. I don't move around much. I am relatively close to the office, but you see me in my home office quite often. Um, but I think the one of the more interesting ones as well when you're talking about traveling is you can definitely do our job just anywhere you can have an internet connection. Like Connor,
hmm
how many times have you reported the podcast from a country other than your home country?
Uh, yeah. Every single one of them has not been from my home country. But
See?
considering I
Well,
just had to write,
yeah.
I had to write this down. In the last 11 years, I've worked in 10 countries. Um, so
Wow.
I consider myself a fairly nomadic, not always digitally nomadic, but just nomadic in
Mhm.
general. But the fact that I can, I'm recording this now from Egypt, which is somewhere I've lived for over 3 years. The fact that I can come back here, um, despite all its problems with the internet, when the president decides to fly around, it's a great country, and I can, I continue working with you guys in the US, so we can be on the podcast at the same time. This kind of freedom, I don't think was something that would have been so easy before the pandemic. I think it was
hmm
possible, but it just wasn't as available. Um,
hmm
so being able to work from wherever for me is great. It's really something that's important.
And on that note, in general, this is more of a like a general conversation work from home topic. The IT field is usually was like a desk job at like some sort of call center or a
Yeah.
office building. Right now, with the fact that they're work from home, has actually expanded opportunities for in-person visits. So if you're working for like an IT consulting company and you're specifically running like a caseload for like 5 businesses in an area, uh, since you're home, and if your home is relatively close, they can send you out to troubleshoot problems a bit easier, maybe one day a month, just try to fix any physical issues that they might have. And that is actually that opens up a lot of opportunity for, a little bit of travel while you're working, right? And while that may not be great for some people, um, people seeing new environments can be really helpful and eye opening, not only for their job field but for their personal lives. And I think that's wonderful. So working from
Yeah.
home allows for, after, especially after the pandemic, an
Yeah.
expanse to like new locations. And I'm
And I
super
think that's
excited for
what,
that.
yeah. And I think that's also why there's this real big shift that's continuing to still happen, because there are some companies that are forcing mandatory like work from, coming back to work, right? Like in person.
Right.
And a lot of them really don't need it, right? So then they're like really confused as to why people don't want to work, but it's not that. It's that we've tasted a bit of freedom and we don't ever want to go back to it. I used to have to drive an hour into work, and it would be over 2 hours in traffic time, right?
No bueno.
And I also have to pay for parking because of where that place was, and where it was located. It's in a big city, and so
Wow.
we'd have to pay a lot in parking, and they don't reimburse. And so yeah, like I was just so done with it, and I really don't like the idea of wasting time. And sure, I can sit there in the in the car like thinking about work or whatever, but it's
Right.
like, I don't really want to be texting and driving either, right? So it felt so wasteful. And I know like the most recent trip that we took, and I'm going to be taking another, well, I'm going to LA, but after I promised our family we're going to do our mandatory every 2 month travel thing soon. But yeah, the most recent one we did, we went to Florida, and it was so nice because I was sitting in our hotel room with like two laptops simultaneously, like, doing like two separate things. And then I look and my children are on their little laptops for school because our county allowed them to have a virtual academy. So we kept them in that in order for us to travel. Um, so yeah, like I was just looking around and they're doing their school and they're all like, they're doing really well in their virtual school. It took a couple months, but they're good. And I was doing my work and I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, and by 2 p.m. I'll be done with work, because I usually will try to be done by 1 p.m. because then Connor's going to start heading off and I don't want to bother him. Um, and I try to keep these like positive boundaries for him, right? Because
Doesn't stop anyone else. So
I
don't
I'm
know,
worry.
but
still
at
here.
least for me, I'm like, I want to help, keep healthy boundaries so that he's not having to, answer my texts at like 9 p.m.
No, it's good for you
And
and
so
good
by
for
the
me.
Yeah, exactly. And so by 2 p.m., I know that we're all going to be done with our school and our work, and we're going to head out and we're going to go hang out, like, doing really fun stuff at the beach and eating yummy stuff. And so, yeah, it was like such a nice moment because I was like, this is what I've been waiting for for the past 2 years is this. Yeah.
So you really like being that digital nomad. That's something that
Oh, I
really
love
like
that. I'm telling
attaches
you.
with you.
Yeah. Like my next goal is to do what Connor's doing, which is just I want to sell everything if I could. I mean, it's harder when you have three grown children.
Mhm.
It's a lot less. There's way more logistics involved. But yeah, I would love to just take 2 years where I'm just traveling 3 months, like just basically staying in a country until the visa expires, and then just moving and just country hopping and checking everything out. I will say I am excited for the fall because I'm like I know I want to go to Korea and I will go. I just don't know when yet, but
Right.
that'll be exciting. And I have a couple other people who are in like the Asia area who told me that they would meet me in Korea, which would be really fun.
That's cool.
So yeah, so it'll be nice to like meet people in person and maybe even try to get some other people to come with me, like Hector and Connor and
I'll
Austin.
be there.
Yeah, I'll be
Hmm.
like, come, let's go.
Not winter. I hate a winter
Oh no,
there.
no, no, we're not. No, I refuse to go to Korea during
Sucked.
the wintertime or the summer. It's too humid. I just feel like God is breathing on me, just like, like like it's just, ugh, I can't do it.
Not for
All right,
me.
But
yeah.
in general, I wanted to go back to an earlier statement you said, Michelle, when you're talking about like we got that taste of freedom
Mm-hmm.
and how some companies don't even reimburse you for the parking or stuff that you do that you have to get to work or do your work properly.
Yeah.
Um, it's for like software and computers, development and engineering. They've actually gotten a lot of those freedoms for a while now, ever since
Mm-hmm.
like
Right.
big tech booms, right back in like 2008 to now.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it's very it's very cathartic at this point. Not all industries are feeling that if workers aren't getting the same treatment that they were at the time, probably not the same salary, but
Mhm.
the same treatment. Hey, we have a good working culture. You can work from home, spend time with the kids, your family, etc. We pay for your parking. We pay for HOV transit if it's a very high traffic area, because if they do require you to go to the office. I
Mhm.
think that was really important, because if companies aren't willing to do that, then to compromise, okay, you can work from home.
Mhm.
I
There
will
isn't
say,
much compromise somewhere though. Like a lot of places aren't willing to compromise, and then they're very confused.
well, yeah, but then they just lose good employees and they have
Yeah.
worse years for financial
Mhm.
overall, and
Yeah.
that's on them. But
Mhm.
what I find interesting so far is when people are working from home, and they almost got it right. They do give you a work computer at some points, but every work computer I've seen is always from like 2007. It still has like Windows XP on it,
Yeah, what's with this?
and yeah, I don't.
No, my
It's
hospital job gave me a brand new computer.
they did.
Yeah. They gave well they I had an older one cuz I just did a full handoff with
Right.
another coworker of mine, and then it had issues, and so I went back to the IT and they gave me like a brand new one that they had just like reconfigured.
Wow, I am amazed.
No, yeah,
So
but our hospital's special. They have
fair
money.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I've had friends in like
You got money.
tech support positions who just get a computer that is like the size of my fist that they plug into a monitor that's the size of my two fists
Oh
or
my
my two
gosh.
hands, and they have a
That
little crappy keyboard.
that's like the school, the
Uh,
virtual academy. They gave my kids laptops, and it's like that weird like it's like this big, and it's that Google one.
Chromebooks. They got
Yeah,
Chromebooks.
and
Books.
they're so slow, and I'm just like, and they do a really good job of security on them to the point that it's so hard to send messages. Like you can't do anything, so I always have to do like a four-way in order to send like information. I mean, like their schoolwork, and
Mhm.
the teachers have told them now because it's such a pain. They screenshot their assignments on the camera of the laptop. So they're like holding it like this and they're doing this when they're taking pictures because they have to like line it up right.
That's
It's
annoying.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's the price of freedom, right?
Work from home versus
Having-
school from home, though. I think school from home is way different than working from home.
it's difficult. I'm not gonna lie. It's the most time consuming we've ever done in terms of like school in general. And I've also homeschooled. I've done regular public school, I've done homeschool, and I've done virtual. And so it is harder. I mean, there's more things we have to do as parents, but I'm okay with that because, like it's allowing the children to have teachers and then we just have to just be on top of it. But this is a fun story that I think is a good one to end with. When we were in New York, so Hector and I were in New York doing an event for Polker, right? Since it's a driving distance to some degree, I just brought my whole family with me because I was like, oh, while we're there, we can stay a couple extra days just for the family and we'll do something. And also, I'm originally from New York, so I like going back. So yeah, we did that. But then that day was when the quarter for the school was ending, right? The fall quarter, and I found out my first and my third child, the first and third did not submit like half of their assignments. And
Oh no.
so we're in New York City and there's like a nice big window and I'm like busy working, so I don't even notice. And Tom, my husband, was taking care of the kids like 100%, right? Um, he was there for an entire day and a half having to make them do their assignments. And so he would come to me every 4 hours and he was like, this is probably what hell is like. Or purgatory. He said purgatory. He was like, this is most likely what purgatory feels like. Just being stuck in an endless loop where I'm having to do middle school math while I can look out to the skyscrapers and Times Square and see all of life passing me by. And I felt so bad for him, but
Poor guy.
I mean, he's a funny guy, so yeah, it was pretty funny. But yep,
And we
purgatory.
we that was a I would not want to be Tom in that situation. I'll just say that.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
he was like never again, and so he got really good at making them do their workout. Like he learned his lesson too. Um, of making sure they're on top of their assignments. So it's never happened again, right? But yeah, that was a rough learning experience for everyone, including the children.
Maybe we could do like at some point like a pandemic episode. Maybe like we talk about how
Oh
our
yeah,
lives ourselves have changed and how
yeah,
we think it affects everything overall. We touched on it quite a bit here, but I feel like that's something we could expand on in other episodes.
yeah. That'd be fun. All right. Well, I think this is a good place for us to end our episode. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Good.
Yep.
will this episode go out before NFTLA or no?
No.
No. Well, dang, I was gonna say if you rub Connor's head when you're at NFTLA, I will give you $5. But
We will do a live, so we can do that on
Okay.
our social media. So
Got
do
it.
not fret, my friend.
Perfect.
Well,
Yes.
I'll ask everybody. Ask Connor. What's the API? APY.
APY. Oh no,
What's the APY?
we're trying to
On that
keep
Someone,
note-
someone's gonna get hurt here.
But yeah, that's a good note to end. Thank you all so much for listening. Please like and subscribe so that you can get the rest of our episodes. Bye.